friends, how's it going? We're here in Nelson, BC this afternoon at, I guess you call it a protest, but I prefer to call it a freedom celebration. Celebrating the freedom we already have, but some people in positions of power don't realize that. A lot of really wonderful positive energy here. We're just hoping maybe we can talk to a few people and maybe get some personal ideas about what's going on. So yeah, here we are in Nelson. We're going to get just talk to a few people and see what's on their minds today with everything that's going on. Yeah, so did you come down here today to support the freedom, or you just happened to be walking by?
Well, I've been walking by and supporting the freedom all day. I was walking down Baker, cheering people on, meeting brothers and sisters in support of freedom. So yeah, of course, doing my own thing.
Very cool. So what are your thoughts about what's going on? Do you have any in-depth thoughts about what you think might be going on here?
I think it's the next revolution in a way, right? It's a revolution of freedom. It's peace over love equals unconditional love. So that's freedom, right? Freedom for everybody, equality for everybody. So that's the revolution that we're going through.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but it seems like some of the governments are because they seem to be so against it. Then, so what are your thoughts on what might be going on from a government standpoint?
Well, clearly they must be out for themselves or someone else and not out for unconditional love and freedom and equality for all. They clearly have a different agenda.
That's very insightful. Very insightful. Yeah. So we actually have a book that talks about a lot of this stuff. Do you believe that history repeats itself?
In cycles, yeah. In cycles. Once you break the cycle, then it doesn't have to repeat itself anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and if, of course, we don't learn from our mistakes, we're destined to repeat them, right? There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so I'd like to share this book with you. And it goes back over the last 2,000 years of history, the Great Controversy. You can keep that. And it actually goes over about the last 2,000 years of history with the world leaders and what's been going on. And I don't know if you're a history buff, but there's a lot of amazing stuff in there.
I don't like history.
Right. Yes. I don't like reading myself either, but because it can get a little bit boring. But there's interesting things in there about what have happened in the past, and then warnings about what we may end up repeating and what maybe will happen. So I hope you enjoy that book.
I certainly will. Thank you. And your name, sir?
My name's Mark.
Mark. And
this is my man, Josh.
Josh, Mark. Gratitude for your service to others.
Thank you very much. All right. Here we are again. We're just talking with some more people. I'll get your names. What's your name?
Kenny D.
Kenny D? All right.
My name is John.
John and Kenny D. All right, we're just down here again, just getting people's feelings and vibes about what's going on here today. So you have some thoughts on what's going on?
Well, I'm really overjoyed at the turnout here. It's been a long time, but now people are really coming on board with us. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said you were down here earlier today. It was actually even more so than this, eh?
That's right, yeah. We've been coming to this place for over a year now, rallying, and sometimes there's only like 9 of us, but this is really good now. It feels really good.
Cool. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I'm not really sure.
All right, give you more time to think about that. So let me ask you a couple questions and get you thinking a little bit. Yeah, you may have heard this. Other people have been saying this on Facebook and whatever, but do you believe history repeats itself?
In some ways, yes, it does.
It's an example of now. It's repeating itself right now.
The thing is, we've been lied to about our history. Most everything's been a lie, and so we don't know for sure if it's repeating or.
Right. Yeah. So, history could be a little bit subjective too. Absolutely. But I think in the big terms, in the big sense, there's been big events that have happened in the past, big world-changing events that have happened in the past. Do you think those kind of things would repeat themselves?
There's a possibility, strong possibility, but since we weren't there at that time, it's really hard to say one way or the other. I'm sure we've been influenced by things in the past.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I think this is the year we decide whether we're going to be free or we're going to succumb to totalitarianism.
And so that's the word, because we have seen even in our lifetimes. So we don't have to worry about subjective history, because even in our lifetimes, in other parts of the world, we've seen totalitarianism. You know, we've seen it firsthand. So the one thing that's interesting us is we're worried about repeating those things, and we don't want to get in those same ruts again. We don't want to repeat the same mistakes. And I like to think that that's part of what this movement is about. We want to draw the line, say enough is enough. You know, so we actually have a book that we're sharing with people as well. And hey, Brett, can I grab one of those from you? So this is a really interesting book, and it's kind of along those lines because it covers a lot of what's happened in the world in the last 2,000 years. You know, and even in our lifetimes and in our grandfathers' lifetimes, you know. So we look at these things because we're concerned about the future. Are you concerned about the future?
Oh, I definitely am. And I'm pretty happy now that the truckers did their rally, because now the whole country seems to be going on board with us. We're not really a fringe group anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Are you concerned about the future at all?
I'm concerned that many of the people are not going to keep up with the good things that are in store for us in the future. I believe there's good things, and some people will be left behind because they're just simply not willing to accept that the world is changing for the better, and they want to get stuck in the old paradigm. That's mine.
Yeah, so for sure. So yeah, I'd like to share this book with you guys. It's a totally free book, and it's got some very interesting stuff: history, politics, war. It talks about things that have happened in the last few hundred years, and it gives us some very good warnings about where we could end up and where we very well may end up. But it also gives us hope. Like you said, there are good things in store, and that's what this whole great controversy is about. Absolutely, thank you. You just took the words right out of my mouth. Sorry, say that again.
Yes, we're in the big war against good and evil, and it's best to be on the side of God.
Amen. Very well said. So yeah, that's very much what this book is about. We have one for you too. I just have to get one from Brett there. Oh, there you go. Sure. Yeah, no, I'm sure you'll really enjoy that. Thank you for sharing your thoughts today. Yeah, here we are. We're just getting some more people to express their thoughts on everything that's going on here. Who are we with here today? What's your name?
My name's Stacy.
Stacy. All right. Okay. So what do you think of this whole thing here today?
Well, it's pretty phenomenal. I've been coming to all the rallies since the very beginning, and we've needed more dancing. And just like the electricity of what's going on, like I've been following the whole convoy, so the people like leading the convoy and stuff, and just like watching people across Canada, like the amount of support, like everybody out in the streets, bonfires in their yards as they're driving through. It's electric, you can feel it. But this is what Canada's about. We're about love, we're about unity, and this division crap has got to go.
Yeah, so that's a good observation, and I've been telling people this is more of a celebration than it is a protest. And the thing that I saw in the convoy, tell me if you agree with me, with this whole convoy thing, is it's bringing so many diverse people together. It's not just one faction of people doing something. Like so many.
They want to paint it that way, but it's not. It's like people of all walks of life. Like our friend Colin Big Bear Ross is there representing the Métis people, you know, and there's clan grandmothers that are coming from the Yukon that are here now with them. Like this is huge. This is uniting all of Canada.
And there's been a lot of like religious people, and there's been non-religious people, and it's just an amazing thing that regardless of what people believe, they're all together on this one thing.
We need to have the freedom, like we are a free country, and if we don't stop this, we are no longer, like right now we're not free. Like I'm not free. I can't go to the pool with my kid. I can't go skiing at Red because I'm not going to pay for a pass if I can't go inside the lodge. Are you kidding me? It's just time to end it all. Like we already know the truth is out there. Unfortunately, the mainstream media lies.
So can I ask you a question? Do you have concerns about the future? Do you think about the future?
Yeah. Obviously, I have an 11-year-old son that I want to grow up in a free Canada. I grew up in Nova Scotia. I'm a Gen Xer, you know, so like, I was around before the internet, before video games, all that stuff. And I remember what it was like to go outside and all the kids in the neighborhood played baseball, or we did all, like, it didn't matter what your age was. All the kids were outside playing and we were riding our bikes around and we just all, and now my child doesn't have that. It's like, and I mean, it's way deeper than that, right? Like this agenda wrecking our children. It's been going on for a lot longer than COVID.
So how do you feel about the idea that history repeats itself?
Absolutely repeats itself. And I'll even take it a step further. The astrological stuff that's going on right now in history, this is when all the great revolutions happen. When these alignments happen that are happening right now in history, this is when like revolutions have happened. I don't know the exact dates, 18, whatever, but like it's there's so much more that meets the eye, right? It's so multifaceted, you know, and it's we as humanity have got to rise up our consciousness, and that's what we're doing right now. And the veil is lifting, and a lot of people aren't ready to hear the truth, and that's okay. We just have to hold the vibration for them.
So do you believe in forces of good and evil? Do you think that plays a role?
Well, like from the beginning, they're like, what do you think's happening? I'm like, all of it. It's all happening. Like you can go into the Bible and you can say, oh, it's the book of Revelations. Like you can go into like Cain and Abel, like the Canaanites and the Abel. Like this is a battle that's been going on forever, you know? And these people that control us are not like us. These elite bloodline families are like Satanists, basically, like whatever. They're like they don't think like us. They're not like humanity.
Well, we have a book that actually we're handing out too. You might be interested in it, and it's called The Great Controversy. And right with what you're saying, you know, there's definitely higher forces at work. And yeah, did Yvonne take off? Yeah. We got some people. I don't have one on me, but we do have some people around. I'll get you one. But yeah, it's a really good book. Covers things that have happened over the last 2,000 years in the world, and some of it's very eye-opening, and some of it's almost scary because we see the same things happening again. But yeah, great talking to you. Thank you for sharing those thoughts.